fresh in your mind when you leave here, the thing we're working on, okay, with the, first off, let's just do what we're doing here recently with the grip, or the club face. Is when you get up to the top, number one, I'll show you this from the other angle here in a second, but we're trying to keep that club, what you feel like is 3/4, right? I think you made the comment that you can't believe that club is getting up that far. Yeah. Well, the reason is because your tendency is to get it back where the club really winds up, and you can see, now that's actually not as long as when you first came in. That was when we made a few changes. When you first walked in, that club was right over there. It was right back behind your head. So you kind of were shortening it. Now what I like is that you're keeping that club short, all right? And what that does, it lets it come out over the top a little bit less. So right there, we're keeping it between your forearms. Whereas a lot of your swings when you were starting down, that club was getting real vertical, coming off your left forearm. So the more I keep the club behind me, what does that club face have to start doing? It's got to start closing down. You can see how that right wrist, you mentioned to me that, I think you said Jason before, is working on keeping that right wrist kind of bent and hinged like that. That's what's allowing you to close the face. So this was one of your better shots. You can just see that face releasing through there. All right, that's good. Now, going back to a couple of your earlier swings, I believe this is your first swing. No, let's go back one more. This is the first swing that you took. Right back in here. You could see how I kind of can imagine what you're working on here. You were working on trying to get behind the ball maybe more, getting into your right side, I think is some of the comments that you made. But you'll see the weight never, with all that turn, the weight never really left never went to your right side, never left your left side.
Is it doing that better now?
Now it's doing it really good, yeah. So over here on the right, you can see, or excuse me, on the left, you can see what we're working on is I'm trying to keep the head a little more there, right? I'm trying to keep that left hip a little more there. And just try to feel like your arms, that right arm stays straight and you extend. So now as you get up to the top, look at how much more your swing looks like it's over your right leg versus this guy over here on the right. You can see how much twisting that left knee was out of position. All right, that's what was causing you problems, is trying to get behind it, trying to get too much right. That was the one, yeah. And we've got several swings that reflect that swing. Here's one of the last few that you were hitting. Watch how much more. Look how much more your weight at the top is staying over your right leg, right? Versus that, again, that first one over here. That was going to be tough. You had a lot of weight staying on your left leg. Look how much your shoulders opened. And then you just never quite were able to lean the shaft forward. Now, when you come forward, look how much more your hips are leading. See that left hip start moving? And look at how much better that shaft's getting out ahead. All right, those are the keys. If you look at our model that we were using with Geiberger, you see the same thing. You see at the top of his swing how much more he was over his right leg there. So he doesn't have a lot of excess turning. His knees are underneath him. Then as he moves forward, you can start to see his left hip move more towards that yellow line.
If I'm hitting like a 50-yard pitch shot, say with a 58-degree wedge, it would be kind of the same swing thoughts, though?
Right, yeah.
Just maybe shorter.
Just shorter, right, exactly. All right, I'm going to send that up to you. Good job.